Hi everybody, Kim here. It's been a really long time since I've done a video. I think the last time I did a video was in November when I was in the US visiting Vlad, and that's been a really long time. So I'm sorry for that. I've been communicating in other ways, so if you only follow our YouTube channel, you probably thought we fell off the face of the planet. But I do send out newsletters, and we have a blog and an occasional podcast. So I'll put links to those below this video so that you're not just waiting on videos if you want to follow our work. Maybe videos are enough for you. Maybe videos are too much for you. You decide. But I do keep you, there are other ways you can be updated if you so choose. But yeah, everything is okay here. We are physically, we're safe. There have been a lot of missile strikes all over Ukraine. Lots of air raid sirens, lots of activity the last couple of days. But where we live specifically, we're okay. I was telling friends recently, it's not like we are living every day like in fear, just like fear and trembling of this war, but it's just always there. It's always right there. Our family just had a chance to go out of the country and rest for a couple weeks. And it was just, you don't really notice until you leave Ukraine is how much the war is just an ever-present thing. I mean, of course, our boys are here and our team is here. So when we leave Ukraine, the war doesn't leave us. But, just being in a place where people make plans to get together or to do something, and barring an illness or an accident, that plan is going to happen. And I feel like here we haven't had that kind of stability in a really long time. I mean, the other day, the first morning we got back from our little rest, Jed and I went grocery shopping because we had zero food in the house. We'd been gone for a couple of weeks, and we go into the grocery store, drop off the kids at school, go to the grocery store, and we were just kind of going as fast as we can because that's what you do when you never know what's going to happen around here. And we had our cart basically full. We're literally looking at each other like, okay, we got everything, right? We don't need anything else. Air raid. So you leave your completely full cart and you have to leave the store, and that's it. And then you're like, well, what do we do? Do we just wait? Do we go home? Because if we just go home and the air raid turns off as soon as we get there, then we just did all of that for nothing. If we wait and the air raid goes off soon, we can just run back in and grab our cart because they won't have had a chance to put the stuff away yet, and then we can just check out. But I mean, an air raid can go for an hour or 6 hours. You just never know. The reality is we don't run to a bomb shelter every time there's an air raid. That's just not the reality here. Maybe some people do, but when you're just out and about in the city, it's I don't even know where the closest one is. And it's just not the reality to do that all the time. The kids do that at the school. They go down to the bomb shelter every time there's an air raid, and they wait there until it's over, which I'm really glad about. But yeah, Jed and I were like, well, let's go get a coffee. So we go to the coffee shop, and then we're sitting in the parking lot of the store, well, do we go home? Do we keep waiting? And then I'm like, let's just go home. So we go home. We pull up to the house. I get out of the car to open the gate so that Jed can park, and the air raid goes off. Of course, welcome home to us. So then he just turned around and went back to the store so that he could rescue our cart before they put the stuff away. But yeah, anyway, all that to say, we're not sitting here afraid all the time. There are days that are scary. There are moments that are tense. But in general, war is just something that's always there. It's always with us. Just keep praying for Ukraine on that note. Otherwise, the boys are doing great. They're thriving, they're growing, they're changing, they're just doing wonderfully, all of them. They each have their little struggles, but in general, they're thriving. The team is doing great. Our team is really working well right now. We're super proud of them. When we came back from our rest, our board member and American staff member, Josh Woods, he met us in Poland, and he came and he's here with us on the homestead for a couple weeks. Josh is our Wide Awake board chair, but he's also the only staff member that we have in the US. He does all of the US side, logistical side of Wide Awake. Banking, works with our accountant, talking with donors and partners, and all the things that Jed used to have to try to do from here. Josh does them now, and it's a huge blessing. He's super smart, very wise. And it's awesome when he comes here because he knows the organization in and out, but he comes to the homestead with open new eyes. He sees things that we don't see. He thinks about things in a different way. He asks us the hard questions. It frustrates me, which he knows he does, but I need that. Like, I need to think differently and outside the box. And he really has a way of just kind of prodding into those places and being like, well, that's the way things have always been done. Like, what about doing it like this? Or does it need to be like that? Or does everybody understand that? Is it clear? Yeah, as we grow, we really need somebody who thinks like that. And so Josh is a big blessing for us. We love him. We're thankful that he's here. Also, he's on our lead team, and he is a part of our lead team meetings every Friday, our morning, his late at night. But online, he joins us, and we have been working on like planning for the next, like, what do we want to see like in the next 10 years? What does that mean for the next 3 years? And what does that mean for the next year? And so he's here with us right now. And next week, we're going to have 3 days of just with the lead team, just planning and dreaming. And we're really thankful that he's here to do that with us. We need him here with us. So that's that. What else? I guess the only other thing to say is that today is a super sad day for us because our Grant has left us. He's on a bus right now to Western Ukraine, where he will then go to Poland and fly back to Indiana, where he's from. If you don't remember, Grant is an American from Indiana that has been a part of our Wide Awake community for the past year. Before the war started, Grant planned to move here and be a house parent for a year to live with Anton and Sasha. And then when the war started, and it was this whole question of like, does he still come? Like, what do we do? And he was just really felt confident in God's call and really still wanted to come. So yeah, his journey here during the first days of the war is a whole story in itself, but he still came. He arrived here in the first couple days of March, I guess. And then yeah, like just a few days after he got here, we all evacuated to Germany. And so he came with us there, was a refugee with us in Germany, living in the church. Yeah, and then in July, when we all came back to Ukraine, he lived in the duplex with Anton and Sasha. And just today he left. And he has been such a blessing to our organization, to our family, to the boys. Just, he came at such a critical time and was a support right when we needed him. It's hard to imagine, like in Germany, just logistically even, like how we would have done that without him. Like Jed pointed out the other day that I don't think we would have been in a position logistically, team-wise, to take Yaroslav and Vova out of the institution, really, if Grant hadn't been with us. And then, yeah, just he has a really awesome way of relating to the boys. He would often go to Romania with the team and our family. Like, he just became a part of our family. Our Seth said today, like, Grant's like my brother. But he was like, I'm too embarrassed to tell him. Mom, you tell him for me. Just, we love him, and we've loved having him here with us. And we're going to miss Grant. We're going to miss you. We love you so much. And we're so thankful for everything that you gave, for your heart for people with disabilities, and what you've taught us about the way that God sees them. And you'll always be a part of us. You'll always be in our hearts. And yeah, we're just super thankful, full of gratitude, and we're going to miss you. So for all of you who are wondering who's going to live with Anton and Sasha now, don't worry. God already has it covered. Jed is going to live with them for about the next month or so. But we do have house parents, and I'll talk more about that next week. But I just wanted to recognize Grant this week for what he's given to our organization and to these boys. So we're super incredibly thankful, and we're going to miss him a lot. So yeah, that's what's happening here. Just plugging along, doing the next thing. Every step that we move forward during this time is a step of hope, because we know like everything is super unpredictable with Russia, But God is still in control, and he still has a call for us to fulfill. And there are still a lot of people and institutions that need home, and we can't provide it for all of them, but we can be a spark of change here in Ukraine during this dark time. And so we're going to keep at it. Thank you for loving us and supporting us. And I'll try to get Josh here on the video with me next week. But until then, have a good week. Bye.